Hey, what's up, everyone? Luigi right here, and today I'm going to be reacting to Thanos versus Darkseid rematch. This one took a little while to come out. Really did. To be honest, you're gonna have for Darkseid. I don't think it's gonna have the what was it called again? The Quantai. I really have no idea. But for Thanos, I definitely know he's not gonna have the Infinity Gauntlet. But anyway, yeah, that's something I do know. So it's just gonna be an old fist-to-fist battle. I am going for Darkseid though, but I feel like Thanos might win this one again, but who knows. But anyway, as always, please make sure to check out the original video. We'll be right back here to watch it together, okay? Okay. Oh yeah, the reason why I didn't start reacting to this, because I saw that Animation Rewind upload a recent video saying something about how Cartoon Fight Club is dead, but there's gonna be another one, Rewind Rumble, but still keeping Cartoon Fight Club kind of alive.
The third season of Cartoon Fight Club. I'm your host, Animation Rewind. Real quick, before we move on with tonight's episode, there's a very important Season 3 update that I'd like you to watch if you haven't seen it yet. This update video is filled with a ton of important information that my fans really need to know and understand in order to help support Season 3. But if you have seen that video and you know how the game is played, then let's get ready for the fight. And tonight we have the long-awaited rematch between Thanos the Mad Titan and Darkseid, God of Apocalypse. That's right, it is a rematch, so be sure to watch part 1 if you haven't seen this part 2. This rematch has them in their base forms. No anti-life equation, no Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh, that's what it's called, anti-life equation.
Thanos and Darkseid. So let's not waste any time and introduce Cartoon Fight.
I'm wondering when that Jack versus, well,
have you ever wondered why
mostly Daxter versus Clank video. That's what I'm mostly wondering. Darn. Sorry about that.
Next round of fighters. Have you ever wondered why Darkseid is always...
Is that a basketball player?
What if I told you that there was once a time when he was a happy little boy? Well, if I told you that, I'd be lying. Darkseid was always a bit of an unsettling presence, to say the least. This is because he comes from a new faction of gods known as, that's right, the New Gods. And if there is new gods, that means something happened to the old gods, which is correct. Something did happen. For some reason, the old gods fought in a war, and risen from the ashes of that war were the new gods and 2 new planets. These planets were Apocalypse and New Genesis. With no explanation, New Genesis...
I feel like Genesis would be something Kara would welcome home.
Both planets originate from the life equation, but the new ruler of Apocalypse, Darkseid, really didn't like this life equation for some reason, which is why he seeks the anti-life equation. And that is pretty much Darkseid's story. Well, at least a summary of it. He's an angry, godlike ruler who will do anything to get his big meaty claws on the anti-life.
Looks a little weird back then with those eyes. With those normal eyes right there. Not the ones right there, the ones that we got right there. That looks weird.
Colossal super strength. As a high-tier cosmic being, Darkseid can easily overpower and kill most galactic beings. He can bend and break through virtually any man-made metal, can lift extremely heavy objects, and decimate full-size buildings and other structures with his might. He possesses enough strength to match beings such as Superman and Spectre in combat. His signature move is the Omega Beam. He focuses this power as a form of energy that he fires from his eyes. This effect not only is a relentless attack, but it is capable of teleporting the target to any location Darkseid chooses and recall them later, or erase the target from the universe and similarly reform them. Darkseid has ongoing control over his Omega Beams, which allows it to travel in straight lines or bend and twist on his command. As a god of Apocalypse, Darkseid can live almost indefinitely. He cannot age, wither, or degrade. However, though it is nearly impossible for him to die, other high-tier aliens such as Kryptonians can and have killed him. Now obviously Darkseid has died and has been beaten before. He must have a weakness, and he does, which is Radion. Darkseid and all the other new gods like him are vulnerable to this substance known as Radion. Its source is unknown, and
All
its
right.
attacks are toxic only in sustained amounts or after explosive pressure. The average
Radion.
can be slain by as little as a single Radion bullet. And last but not least, we have Darkseid's Omega effect. This is the core of which his other abilities manifest from. This effect allows him to transverse through time and space, also enabling him to break barriers and force fields. In other words, the Omega effect is similar to telekinesis on steroids. Overall, Darkseid is a universal, nigh-omnipotent god of evil origin with universal strength and...
Alright, let's see what Thanos could do without his Infinity Gauntlet.
...elements such as Radion.
Oh no.
Thanos...
Alright. Alright.
However, he is weak to mystical elements such as Radion.
Oh no.
Thanos is back.
What was
This
that?
time he is without the Infinity Stones or his Infinity Gauntlet.
Old man Jenkins, what's with that?
Titan Eternal. In fact, he is one of the most powerful Titan Eternals in the Marvel Universe. Now yes, technically Thanos is of the Eternal race, but more accurately he's an offshoot sect which is known more promptly as Deviants. The Deviants are similar to Eternals in terms of power, gene, and immunity against aging and disease. However, they lack nobility and a good-willed spirit. This is where Thanos comes in. His story starts off as a prince on Saturn's moon, Titan. Since Thanos was so different from his family, he often quietly disagreed with their views on peace and prosperity.
Really?
First, he was more fearful of his bad thoughts and not proud of them. This changed when he traveled into an uncharted temple and
I don't know much about these two, so I'm sorry I'm not giving any personal any interesting stuff. I'm really sorry.
It would be a good idea to destroy all life in order to win her over. And thanks to his impressive power, he was able to cause quite some damage in the Marvel Universe. So let's go over those.
Oh, I remember when Deadpool stole that from Thanos.
To wrestle with the Hulk, powerful enough to outblast Thor, and smart enough to outthink Galactus. Thanos has displayed great versatility in the use of his energy projection powers. He is
that's very simple. Wait, that was Capcom 4.
Gamma radiation bursts, infrared heat beams, and disruptor beams, as well as form force fields. Thanos possesses vast telepathic abilities. His mind is invulnerable to most forms of psychic attack. So far, Thanos has demonstrated ability to project blasts of telepathic energy, as well as being able to shut down...
Alright, so that could be a problem for Darkseid.
...communicate telepathically with most, if not all, beings. Like all Eternals, he is immortal in the sense that he is immune to all known diseases and infections, plus the effects of aging. Formerly, Thanos was banned by death itself from entering its realm, rendering him truly immortal. No matter the severity of any injury, Thanos will be unable to die since technically he is banned. Despite his extraordinary durability, it is possible to injure Thanos. Immortality is not the same as omnipotence. Technically, his spirit might be impossible to put to rest, but his physical body does...
Alright, so just get rid of his physical body and that's it?
Thanos is a supreme eternal life form with a crave for power and death. He will do whatever it takes to please his love for death. And now, let's set ourselves in circumstance. This battle will take place...
Too bad Deadpool got there first.
This is a grudge match in their base forms. So no Infinity Stones, no Infinity Gauntlet, and no anti-life equation, no preparation. With all this in mind, let the battle begin.
Alright. Let's see how it's gonna go. Alright, there's Darkseid. Thanos is already... What the heck?
The multiverse
Is that Thanos' voice? Or one of his voices?
Destiny awaits.
That was...
I shall rule unopposed.
That was Thanos really... Is that what he really sounds like?
Pray. It's not over. You are a fool to think you can stop me.
Alright. Alright, the god of Apocalypse versus the Titan. Versus Titan Thanos.
Fool. Pray.
That's gonna be enough.
Ultimate shot. Fool.
Alright, now I'm taking this fight on Earth. Okay, now I'm thinking of Uncharted.
I will unleash
Uncharted 3 to be specific.
God. I'll put your head on my throne. Foolish.
I feel like this is from another game. What game is this?
Ultimate blast.
Okay. Dang.
KO!
Darkseid won? Wow. Well, good for him.
I hope you enjoyed that animation. Special thanks to Isaac B for putting it together. Also, please check out the Cartoon Fight Night channel, where we have a Bendy vs. Mr. Game & Watch episode that I think some of you would enjoy. Thanks, and now for the post-analysis.
Alright. I don't know how Darkseid won.
Now, before we break down each category, it is important to understand that yes, technically Thanos is banned from death, but immortality is not the same as omnipotence. Sure, his spirit can never be rested in the realm of death, but that doesn't mean his physical body is 1000% completely unbreakable. Thanos, without his Infinity Gauntlet, does have his fair share of limits. While they are impressive and high limits, they do have their peaks, and so does Darkseid, as I'm about to explain, though Darkseid's peaks are a bit higher, which does give him the win.
Alright, speed.
When it comes to speed, both characters are impressively fast. Now in comic books, it's kind of impossible to pinpoint exact numbers since time is usually implied and not directly stated. With that in mind, Darkseid is easily fast enough to keep up with Superman and more impressively Spectre in combat. Now it is hard for me to say exactly who's faster between him, Superman, and Spectre since they do trade blows fairly equally at similar rates. Plus, it is clear that Darkseid is slower than the Flash since it was the Black Racer who impaled Darkseid. But then again, who is exactly faster than the Flash? Not many people, if not anyone at all. As for Thanos, we've seen him be on par with the likes of Silver Surfer, who is one of the fastest characters in the Marvel Universe. The thing with Darkseid and Thanos is that their best speed feats come from scaling. So this opens up a can of worms in debating who's faster, Superman, Spectre, or Silver Surfer. Especially with comics exclusively, it's going to be really hard to give you a black and white answer on exact speed limitations. But for what it's worth, I will say that Silver Surfer is far more consistent with his speed when compared to both Superman and Spectre. The thing with Superman is he fluctuates depending on solar intake, sometimes he's faster than other moments, and Spectre, it's really tough to say if he was giving 100% full effort in his fight against Darkseid. So I'm not saying Silver Surfer is faster than Spectre, all I'm saying is I don't know if Spectre was going 100% against Darkseid. Plus, technically Superman is faster than Darkseid when nearing his peak, and Superman is more reliant on physical travel, whereas Darkseid is more reliant on teleportation.
So this could be a little tricky, to be honest, trying to come up with see who's faster just with comic
speed edge to Thanos. And please keep in mind when I say slight, because this thing is very, very close. That could go either way.
Alright, strength. Alright, who has the strength advantage?
This is where Darkseid easily takes the cake. Thanos is a strong dude, but his best strength feats come from wearing that Infinity Gauntlet. Yes, without the gauntlet, Thanos can still scale to Thor and Hulk in terms of strength, but those at the very best can be stalemated by Darkseid scaling to Superman and Doomsday. However, we've seen a weaker incarnation of Darkseid, being New 52 Darkseid, hold down an entire plane of reality with physical strength alone. If that was New 52, imagine just how strong post-Crisis Darkseid could be. Keep in mind, this is an entire plane of existence. Thanos has not shown a direct feat of this magnitude. His closest without the Infinity Gauntlet is scaling to Hulk and Thor. Hulk is his own can of worms since he's constantly fluctuating in power as he gets angrier, and it will be tough to persuade me a sales pitch saying Thor is stronger than Superman or Doomsday, because if he was, he wouldn't be so reliant on his magic to beat his enemies if he had Doomsday's physical strength. So the category of strength goes to Darkseid. You got the touch.
Power and durability. Durability. Why did I just say it like that? I don't know why.
This is another pair of categories where Darkseid holds a very impressive edge. While we don't know if Spectre was giving all in his fight against Darkseid, his amount of effort has nothing to do with how durable he is in general. He can lower the amount of force he uses, but he really can't physically make himself more susceptible to damage. With that in mind, Darkseid was powerful enough to greatly damage Spectre with his Omega Beams. And keep in mind, I'm lowering Spectre, assuming he's not giving it all, just to give Thanos the benefit of doubt here.
Alright. Good ad.
Assuming he's not giving it all, just to give Thanos the benefit of doubt here. For durability, it took the power of the Source Wall to put Darkseid in his place. The Source Wall is one of, if not the most powerful entity in the DCU. Superman was not powerful enough on his own to beat Darkseid with sheer force. Plus, without any Radion, there really isn't any soft spots Thanos can hit Darkseid with. He would need the power of force equivalent to the force of the Source Wall. I'll bet a fine dollar he doesn't have that amount of power in base form. Speaking of Thanos, his best showcases of durability without the Infinity Gauntlet are being able to survive attacks from Galactus, which is impressive, but keep in mind I said survive. Without the power of Cosmic or without the Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos gets severely damaged when facing Galactus. Yes, there are times when Thanos has the upper hands in his fights against Galactus, but during this time, he's either equipped with the full power of Cosmic, he has the Infinity Stones, he has the full Infinity Gauntlet, or he has preparation. In a random encounter in his base form, Thanos easily gets the crap beaten out of him. When it comes to power alone, Thanos has shown the ability to outpace Silver Surfer in attack potency. But if you want to find anything greater than without power scaling to Silver Surfer, you're going to have to upgrade Thanos with the power of Cosmic or with the Infinity Gauntlet, giving a handily edge for Darkseid in both power and durability.
Alright, intelligence and experience. Alright, let's see who has more intelligence.
Essentially even when it comes to experience. You can debate who has slightly more experience, but you're debating pennies on the dollar. They're both extremely old and well-experienced entities who have faced extremely wide varieties of foes, but it's battle intel where Darkseid takes the edge. They call Thanos the Mad Titan for a reason, because in the end of battle, he easily grows mad with his power, and a lot of times he acts out of rage. Plus, the majority of his drive, determination, and will to fight in the first place comes from his blind love to impress Death herself. Darkseid, on the other hand, who isn't exactly a happy camper by any means, is usually cool, calm, and collective in his battle decisions. He is extremely precise on calculating his attacks and battle plans. Darkseid rarely acts out of blind rage and almost always attacks with decisive decision-making that includes tactical actions. While yes, both characters are extremely experienced, Darkseid takes an edge in battle intel with his ability to
that makes sense.
Fight, whereas
Stupid ads, there has to be so many. I'm sorry, this is really getting annoying with the ads. I really don't like ads.
Thanos has a higher tendency to attack out of blind rage. I'm not saying Thanos can't use battle intel and can't think tactically. He certainly can.
And plus, these ads are messing up the screen, so I can barely see them.
Act like a wild animal.
Blame the ads.
It's the final countdown. Thanos and Darkseid are both insanely powerful beings. They're both feared respectfully in their universes. However, Thanos is more reliant on his Infinity Gauntlet than Darkseid is with the anti-life equation. When comparing base forms, Darkseid clearly holds edges in strength, power, durability, and intelligence. They're both pretty much tied in experience, and Thanos has a super slight edge in speed, but it's a debatable edge and a slight edge at best. Now, the best defense for Thanos is the fact that he is banned from death. However, as I stated a number of times throughout this upload, immortality is not the same as omnipotence. Technically, Thanos' spirit is banned from entering the realm of rest, known as death, but that doesn't mean his physical body is 100% indestructible and that he's somehow completely immune to all forms of damage, destruction, or
that is true. You can't just assume that immortality is the same as omnipotence, or that durability and healing factor is the same.
On Superman's face is an indisputable fact and something that we have never seen Thanos pull off. It is true that Superman got fapped on in the face by Darkseid, making the winner of this battle Darkseid. Now these two aren't the only godlike beings around. So if you want to see a battle of the gods between the likes of Thanos, Darkseid, Beerus, and other godlike ultimate
Yep, knew that Beerus is definitely included. Wait, is he gonna include Azrael Dreamer?
There will be a battle of the gods free for all. Also,
The God of Piper Death? That's what I'm wondering.
Stay tuned as I introduce next Saturday's fighters. Next Saturday on Cartoon Fight Club.
I probably know what it is. Wait, SMG4?
Guys, a certain someone is trying to take over this channel. Mario's trying to crush me, and I ain't having that crap! Oh no, you don't.
Oh, I remember. A war is coming? 2 ideas? 1.
Everything looks perfect for Valentine's Day.
You know, I know both these YouTubers. I know Super Mario Luigi and Super Mario Logan.
So stay tuned for If That Feels Like a Lifetime Away. Please check out the Cartoon Fight Night channel where we upload fights almost every night.
SMG4 versus Super Mario Logan.
Video. It's very important if you care about the 3rd season of Cartoon Fight Club. I'm Animation Rewind.
I care.
I'll fast forward to you later.
To be honest, if it doesn't get involved like YouTube, like he did with Markiplier versus PewDiePie, then I feel like Super Mario Logan's gonna crush Glitchy. But then again, I like Glitchy a bit more. I don't know about this. Anyway, yeah. It was pretty good, I'll admit, it was pretty good. Anyway, as always, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll see you right back here next time. Luigi Jax, out.